Ashe! Big welcome at Canta Capoeirista. And now we're going to talk about singing without straining the voice. Because we often have the feeling if we want to sing loud, that we actually have to give lots and lots of force, that we have to put lots of pressure in the voice and really scream our beep off. This is what's not the healthiest approach to our vocal folds. And we have to keep in mind that, first of all, it's the singer's formant that is making the voice loud. Our vocal folds actually close according to the physical law of fluid dynamics. There was one physicist, he is called Bernoulli. You don't really have to know it in detail, but he was like researching this object or this subject, and this is how our vocal folds are closing as well. Now, if I'm now putting some air through two sheets of paper, well, actually, what can you observe? You can observe that they're actually moving together, but they are moving together just by themselves. There is no additional force. There is no extra power forcing them together. And this is how our vocal folds actually should close as well. So just to give a quick experiment, if you're sitting relaxed and observing the feeling in your throat, so just like feel what you're feeling in your throat, and now flex your abdominal muscles. If there's something changing in your throat.
I think they are closer than before, maybe?
Yes, usually most people experience the same feeling, that there is a tightness suddenly in your throat. This already is enough to put strain on your vocal folds, because your vocal folds, they're just in your throat minding their business, and if now the muscles from outside are pushing onto the vocal folds, they're saying, Houston, Houston, we got a problem, there's so much pressure on us, we're going to bruise, and there's actually too much pressure on us. So what the body then does as a response is adding some fluids in there to just protect the tissue. And this is where they start to get a different shape. They're getting a bit longer. So probably all of you experienced it at some point. You're calling somebody Sunday morning and they've been out the night before, and you just hear their voice and you're like, hell, where have you been yesterday? You just hear that the entire voice sounds super, super different to what it usually does. And this is because the vocal folds now have all this additional liquid. They're a bit longer, they're a bit broader. The size is not as they usually are. And this is why the voice has a different sound then. Now, throughout the process of singing loud, it happens quite often that we just give at a little more force is needed. I'm on stage now for many, many years, and on peak notes, I still have to remind myself, relax. It's very, very normal that our bodies think, oh, it's getting high and loud, I have to press, I have to squeeze. But this is actually not how the voice works and what's good for the voice. So if you manage to relax, keep in mind, it's just two sheets of papers where the air is passing, and that we know it's the sharpness. Hey! Hey! This really allows us to scream or make this fancy screams, even then if we need a little more energy. So yeah, if I'm posting this, hey! Just want to give it a try. Just like scream, yay!
Yay!
No way!
No way!
And now it's like, try to give it a different sense of feeling. If you really, hey! If you just scream, hey! This wasn't even too bad. That she probably could carry through for some time. But if you're shouting too much in the order, you will be really, really wrecked. So I once had a friend who went to the AC/DC concert, and for an entire week his voice didn't work because he was screaming so passionately along. It's very normal if we put if we give lots of energy, that we sometimes abuse the voice a little. And usually after 1 or 2 hours, it should be relaxed again. I know from most capoeira events, this is not how it happened. People are coarse way longer. So whenever you're really in the axé, in the dende, and you think, oh, this is so great, just remind yourself, hey, my voice doesn't feel so good anymore. Just to take it a level back. And remember all those techniques, that you go for the sharp sounds, and that you just try to relax everything and not put any additional power onto the vocal folds. That much about singing without strain. We say bye and see you next time.
Ashe.